Ready to face your fears head on, conquer them, and create a safer, more prosperous future? Worried that the world has gone nuts and you've become an insanity magnet? Then grab a cold libation, put on your fuzzy slippers, and get ready to create your own safe space. It's the Safe Space Podcast with your host, Tammy D. For more information and episodes, go to www.saferpodcast.com. That's www.saferpodcast.com.
Hello, everybody. I am Tammy D. If you don't already know me, welcome to the Safe Space Podcast. This is a recording where we've invited a few people to come on live, which is something I don't usually like to do because you never know on my, I edit sometimes recordings because things happen, but we're just going to let things unfold. The last webinar I had, actually, Eric, my dog, decided to go into full-on barking meltdown. And
of course.
he goes around and he's just, he's a Yorkie, but he thinks he weighs 150 pounds and he's fierce. So that may happen. When the mail comes, he goes absolutely nuts. So I want to thank everybody for being on the call this morning. Reach out to all of my agents that are here. I really appreciate you guys, taking some time out of the frenetic holiday season. People's minds are just not on business, but this is the time when the real go-getters are out there taking advantage of this lull and getting out there. One of these go-getters is my guest today. You know him or know about him from the infamous ohshitidie.com website, which I think you can see my screen, right? It's up there on the screen, right? The video that was heard around the world, and certainly by a lot of insurance agents who went, "What?" Boldly dared to go where no other agent had gone before, and it's a boring product that's been given a new life with this "Oh Shit I Die" campaign. And he's also, in real life, look at this. He's actually, a real business person also there. It's not all about fun and games and motorcycles and stuff, but he's also with More Freedom Financial.com. He's the CEO, and they are how do you describe yourself, the agency? Is it a brokerage, an IMO?
We're a brokerage. Correct, we're a brokerage.
So they're like a full service brokerage. They do a little bit, a little bit of moonshine, a little bit of this and that and the other, and it all comes together in some kind of brew that does very well for them. And so we're going to talk to Eric today. And I'm so glad, again, all of you are here. We're going to talk to Eric about how he got into insurance. None of us, I don't think, Eric, ever start out, when we're little going, I want to be an insurance agent when I grow up. Tommy wants to be a fireman and somebody else wants to be a nurse and I want to be an insurance agent. I don't think that's how it goes. And I don't remember anyone on Halloween dressing up with a little briefcase and hi, I'm a captive agent, So it doesn't usually work like that. We usually get into it from various ways. Mine was weird, and I'm sure Eric has a story about how he got into this business first of all, and how he looks at it a little differently as something that is you're a distributor more than you are even an agent, and he's going to explain that a little bit. And so, Eric, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got here and how you managed to live all these years without getting killed on a motorcycle or, whatever other kind of, I don't know, you wrestling alligators, you're there in Florida. I'm not sure exactly what other things
it's close.
you're into.
If you can think of it, I've probably done it. So, so yeah, I'm glad to be on. My name is Eric Boling, and I'm down here in Pensacola, Florida. I'm a little outside of Pensacola, a little town called Gulf Breeze, right on the water. So I moved here about 7 years ago. I got in insurance. This next month will be 15 years, and there's no real big story. It was the right place, right time. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I really knew nothing about insurance, nothing at all, other than I had some. And to make a long story short, I saw an ad from a guy who I still work with together to this date, But I saw an ad from him, and just it was something about what he said. I don't even remember what exactly it said, but it prompted me to pick up the phone and give him a call. And he knew right away, because so I'm 55, never had a job. Right out of college, I just started getting in my own business, whether it's printing. I owned a screen printing company for 17 years. I owned a restaurant, was in franchise sales and development, and owned a few franchises myself. And I don't know. There's something, I just wasn't happy, and I was looking for something that I could scale. That was no one used that word back then, but I was always interested in more. And at the time when I found insurance, I was in franchise development. What always killed me was that somebody out there was willing to spend 250, 300,000, up to $1 million, maybe to get a franchise. Let's just say it's a Rally's Hamburgers or whatever, and they're going to put all this money into it, build it out, rent, lease, or build a building, staff it, put all this time and energy and money into this thing to hopefully break even by year 3, 4, or 5 if they're still in business, and have all that exposure and risk. And then and there's so many people out there willing to do that. And then when I saw insurance, I said, well, what's the cost of entry? What's the barrier here? It's like, well, you got to get an insurance license and maybe some leads, some E&O insurance and stuff like that. So I was like excited, but I wasn't excited as most people. Let's just put that, they're not excited about insurance. Here's what I was excited about, because I could take a lead going and selling. I was excited about the model of building out a large agency, which I've done over the course of 15 years. I think I last count 41 agents in 4 states. I was excited about that because, unlike a local franchise, there's no limit on where I could go. Obviously, the United States, so I could scale this nationally. The cost of entry was very inexpensive, the cost of a license and stuff like that. And I love the fact that the margins, the overrides, the renewals, the bonuses, the incentives that the carriers give us and stuff. So that's what really attracted me. But you're right, Tammy, this is a fairly benign, sterile business, right? The reason I'm telling you this is to why we got here. So over the years, my agents, we use leads. Some do their own marketing. I'm not really into the friends and family thing, never really attracted me to that. So my wife and I were sitting, this is about 3.5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago now. We're sitting sitting on the couch just during some downtime, and my head's always spinning, my wheels are always turning. I was like, what in the world can we do to get more clients? Like, obviously we always have leads, and those come and go, especially with interest rates and different things outside our control can sometimes control those leads. And I was like, we got to do something different. And I'm always considered myself a marketer, a copywriter. Like, I can come up with the ideas. Sometimes I have trouble monetizing things, but I can come up with the ideas, the funnels, the logos, all that stuff. So I said, you know what? At the end of the day, marketing is just about gaining attention. That's it. You're just trying to stand out from the rest. And I started looking around. I said, man, how many freaking, like the picture you showed me on my other website, which I probably need to change. How many pictures can you see of a husband and wife, holding hands, congratulating each other because they're covered with, they've got insurance coverage? There's just nothing new out there. So I was like, you know what? We're going to take this down to the basics for 2 reasons. Number one is we need to sell more. Like I love, don't get me wrong, we sell a ton of annuities and IULs and debt free for life, this big whole life policy. We sell a lot of that, but that's a harder sell. That's just a harder sell. I say, how can we go out and sell a ton of a very simple product that's simple for the client to understand, simple for a new agent to get out and master, something that pays daily, that's a good product for people from, maybe, a wide range of people. And I said, you know what, what's the simplest product we have? Probably the accidental death, the one that nobody ever seems to sell, right? So for me, building an agency, I can teach somebody coming in day one to go sell that. Hey, who do you go talk to? I don't know, anybody with a dangerous job, cop, fireman, construction worker, a long haul trucker, first responder, who else? Guys like me, hunter, rides motorcycles, does things, their hobbies are maybe a little bit more dangerous than the average person, right? And what do these people have in common? A lot of times, a lot of them are self-employed, right? So I'm not looking just at that primary sell, that accidental death, because the premium is right 45, 55, $60 a month if they're getting the return of premium on the accidental policy. But that's just an introductory sale. Once we make that sale, then we can turn around and look at their health plan. And then if we're saving them money on the health plan, then we can turn around and talk to them about an IUL and stuff like that. So it's a very good entry point. So going back to this, where the website came from, I was just like, you know what? Let's just throw it out there. I'm gonna put it, shitidied.com. And my wife goes, what about shitidied.com? And that's where it clicked. So I got in there, created a couple logos. I had a simple little 40-second video done that's just kind of rudimentary. But here's the crazy thing. So I put it out there. And I'm not a huge social media guy. I've got, I have my Facebook account and my LinkedIn, which I don't really use that much. So I opened up an Instagram account and put it out there. And in 48 hours, I had over 25,000 followers. Right. So there it is right there. So that simple little stupid video, which cost me nothing to make, maybe $100 total for a voiceover. I did the logos and scripted it. Anyway, it went nuts. People were, hey, I love this. Hey, and then there's a little monkey logo that's on the website that they love. They want to buy merchandise and all this kind of stuff. And initially I wasn't monetizing it.
We're definitely doing merchandise though, Eric. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah,
you.
100%.
Yeah.
I've already. So yeah, as a matter of
I've had
fact,
too many people ask me for the t-shirts, and I'm like,
as
okay,
silly as this, these silly little stickers right here, if you can see.
yeah.
People want to buy them. People want to buy hoodies. Anyway, so I'll do an Etsy store at some point and all that kind of stuff. But my point is, and this actually, Tammy, will lead me into what we're going to talk about towards the end with the affiliate stuff. But because we've now started monetizing this, right? We've started getting leads. We're doing a few things differently. And I will tell you, there's going to be opportunity here in the next few weeks. People want to mirror this site. People want to say, well, how can I get involved? I want to sell this accident. I want to add this to my portfolio. We're going to be able to do that in short order. We're just working out some technical stuff on how we can implement it for the masses, almost like a franchise thing, no sense in reinventing the wheel and trying to do that. So we've got a lot of success with this. We can really, really monetize it. And for all y'all that people out there, agents that want to get involved with this, they certainly can. I'll have a lot more details, like I said, in a few weeks, once we get some of the technical stuff done, how we can do this out so that leads will go straight to that agent. But that's it. So again, the hype has been great. It's been different. We really haven't had any. I thought we get a lot of haters. Hey, you shouldn't make fun of things like this. Well, you know what? Maybe me making fun of something, puts a policy in force that actually protects the family, and that's important because it really is. At the end of the day, we're here as agents in life insurance and to prevent financial devastation in the house should that day happen. So that's important to me. And I just think we're at the tip of the iceberg. Once we start scaling this up larger and getting a lot more people involved, we'll have a lot more resources to do more professional videos and really push it out there to everyone. I'll tell you what else we've done is one of my agents, and I will personally be doing this spring. The motorcycle community has been a huge part of our resurgence, right? And so, like my agent Brian out of Tucson, he actually went to the Harley Davidson dealership, printed out just on the fly. I mean, didn't even have 24 hours notice. They said, hey, why don't you come by this weekend? We're doing a cookout. We're going to have a live guy playing live music, and we'll have 500 or 600 people come through. He went there, set up a card table, bought a $50 gift card to give away, like in a drawing, and booked, I think it was last count, like 18 appointments from just being there and having a QR code set up with the oh shit guy logo, and sold a ton of policies. And he's actually going back and sold a couple of health policies from those initial sales. So, and he wasn't even organized. So you're able to go out and what's crazy. So like I've booked what's called Thunder on the Beach. It's a big motorcycle rally here in about 2 hours away in Panama City. It's going to have about 150,000 people come through. It's May 3rd through the 5th. And my cost to go and set up there with a 10 by 10 tent, like a tailgating tent, which I'm having custom made with all the logos, by the way, is $225. I sell half of one policy.
Are you guys listening to this honestly, because I've been saying events, the right ones.
Events.
You got to pick the right ones, but
Mhm.
events are hands down the cheapest way to get leads. I mean, this is why I do webinars. This is why I do a lot of the things that I do, because you can spend, Eric, this, $300 for a so-called vetted lead, somebody who's massaged it. You can spend $300 to $500 for one of those. Or you can go out to a big rally, have fun, meet 5,000 people, gather up, fish bowls, the old school stuff, a wheel of fortune. You could grow your list in one event, and then you wouldn't have to be buying crappy leads from these vendors anymore if you did it right. Plus, you'd have fun. The thing is that
Absolutely.
I met a guy who was actually doing that. I met a New York Life guy actually who was doing that at a street fair in Los Angeles. And I said, why do you bother doing this? LA is just, it's another level of hideous when it comes to driving and trying to find a place to park. And I mean, really, I had better success in Chicago. I thought that was bad, but LA's a whole other level. And I asked him, why do you even bother? And he said, because I have so much fun. It reinforces how I feel about my business, the fact that I'm helping people. I get to listen to people's stories, and I always get at least 2 or 3 appointments every time I do it. So
Well,
it's
there's
like,
magic. There's absolute magic when you are face to face with somebody. So much of our business now is virtual, that there's no human touch anymore. And I'm just telling you, good things happen. And so we've got it really kind of ironed out well. I mean, we got QR codes that'll go straight to a Calendly. I'm going to have 2 or 3 people with me that can write on the spot. You know, these e-apps with this one product that we write. And by the way, we're now the #1 producer for the accidental death in the country. Um, this one
wow.
product takes literally 7 or 8 minutes to do a quick e-app, and it immediately issues, pays the next day, comes with tons of benefits on top of it for free. In a lot of states, you can get return of premium, which makes sense. So it's a great lead-in product. And if you can go to seriously, like if he did that on the fly with a few hundred people coming through, what's 150,000 over 3 days with a well-oiled machine going to look like? They may generate thousands of leads that I can then, obviously we can't write it all, but I mean,
You can
imagine
distribute
making
it. You
four or
can
five hundred
distribute it.
bucks a pop. Yeah,
Yeah, you can distribute it, those leads. And if you're
absolutely.
worried about getting too many leads, I think you're worried about the wrong thing here.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
um,
So, and that's
but
just the tip, but that's just motorcycle. There's 1,000 other things out there. So we've got
oh,
people
sure.
working on our #1 client right now, period, is the long haul trucker, to the trucker who they make good money. They obviously carry, $50 a month with a return of premium is not a big deal to those folks. And it makes sense. And they have disposable. It's funny how many people in the motorcycle community are truckers. That's what they do for a hobby. I think some people say, oh, motorcycles, and they have this terrible vision of what that looks like. It's actually middle to middle upper class people mostly I'm talking about, which is where is our wheelhouse. That's the client we want,
Well,
right?
sure, we have a lot of accountants and doctors that are into the Harley scene,
Mm-hmm.
so that doesn't surprise me at all because they're not cheap. They're not cheap, and
Oh no, man, they're
they
not.
have. And what about here's a question. Dale wants to know, can you use this thing on a website? Like if you're multi-state licensed, how would that work if you wanted to sell this electronically? Let's say, just drive traffic to a website. Can you do that? Is it possible?
That is what we're working on. So what I'd like to eventually be doing is, for example, I'll just use my guy Brian in Arizona there, and he's licensed in 50, not 50 states, but probably 15, 16 different states. And we want him to be able to have his own version of this site, right? Because right now, any lead that is generated from this site, I've already kind of have a verbal agreement with people that hey, if I lead come in from Arizona, I'm just going to pop it over to him. But that takes manual effort. So we're looking at building a clone. Tammy, I'm gonna screw this up because that's what we're actually going to talk about here in the next week or two. How to build out clone sites that they have control, where anything bounces back, goes straight back to them. Right. So we're
Absolutely.
working on that.
It's a big
We're working on that.
undertaking, but you could still get started. You don't have to wait for that to be completely finished.
Exactly.
If you want to do this, then you just need to
Yep.
get with Eric and you guys work whatever out you're going to do. So
Yep.
walk me through then. What else do you do? What other lines? I just out of curiosity, because I know people are kind of wondering, what other lines do you focus on with your
In
agency?
insurance,
Hmm.
Okay, so and it does kind of lead into what we're going to talk about in a minute. So my primary thing for 15 years has been life insurance, right? In the last 7 months or so, we've gotten into health insurance, and I'm not talking about med sups and all that kind of stuff, Medicare. I'm not talking about the Obama exchange and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about regular health plans for basically self-employed people. The same people we're looking at for the accidental client. And so what we've really gotten pretty good at is the referral process, because I don't think you can't be a great life agent and a great health agent and a great advanced market agent, right? So we basically have three buckets that in our insurance. Now we don't fool with P&C, we're life and health, but we have some extraordinary talented life people that have for many years left a lot of money on the table when the client said, hey, do you do health insurance? And like, nope, we sure don't. Now what they can do is, because we've got some really good health agents, so the life agents can then refer that client to the health agent and split that commission 50-50, right? The health agent, who really is not very good at life, can do the same thing in reverse to the life agent, split the app 50-50. And then the same thing on we do a lot of annuities, a lot of debt free for life, IULs and things like that. And just because you can, fog a mirror and pass an insurance test doesn't mean you need to be selling annuities or IULs. Let's be clear, or the debt free for life. That's a whole nother level of commitment, and we take that seriously. So what we've done is we've worked out, like I've got a whole team of specialists. We call them advanced market specialists that love this, because our people in the field, the people out every day selling insurance and health insurance stuff, can refer a client. If they see some money, there's some possible safe money, or somebody maybe a possible IUL candidate, or certainly a debt free for life, they'll just simply refer it. I've built out the apps, and we're very good about that. And they'll refer it to that agent, and everything is a 50-50 split. Split the advance, split the back end, split the renewals for life, and everybody's happy. The specialists are happy because we're keeping them busy and they're getting paid. The life and health guys don't have to fool with trying to understand that and screwing that sale up. Everybody stays in their lane. I think that's been a pretty successful model.
And that's a great way to look at it, because a lot of times I think there's this competitiveness and everybody wants to be all things to all men, and they're afraid that other agents are going to poach their clients. But there's a degree of accountability in your agency that I really liked. And so that's not an issue. And you really can't be good at everything.
You
It
can't.
doesn't.
There's a great book somewhere over here. It's over there, called Ego is the Enemy. And just, saying, I think greed kills, because I do have some agents that are, you know what, I'm not going to give 50% away. Yeah, but I said, so I had this conversation really a month ago with a guy, and he's in Illinois, and great life agent. And in all these years, he sold one annuity, and he needed basically the carrier to do most of the work. He said, well, I'm not going to give all this up. I said, dude, you're going to screw it up. This is a multi-appointment. You're used to one 45-minute appointment close and you're done. Stop being greedy. Greed kills. When you're greedy, you're going to take your eye off the ball and you're going to lose clients. And it's just bad. I would much rather spend 5 minutes talking to a client and qualifying them and giving it to one of the specialists, and me make half the money, right? I've had actually some of the specialists say, you know what, I wish I was the guy referring, because now I have to service these clients for 10 years and the commitments and all that kind of stuff, and the constant continuing ed. But again, they're happy. We got some of those guys making, well over $500,000 a year just from referrals that they're taking from us. So.
And I, the thing is, I'm like that too, because I'd rather do an affiliate partnership with somebody that really knows their niche area than to try to learn it from scratch and do it all. I mean, it's just, when I was younger, I didn't mind learning 5,000 things, but I'm at the point now I want to focus on one or two. And this is why some of you were a little confused, because I sent out information about the corporate event we had last night, and I sent out something about ohshitidie.com. Are they connected? Yes, they are, because as I'm, so here's my side of the story was I'm sitting there watching YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden this crazy video comes on. And if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go to ohshitidie.com and watch the 40-second video. I laughed and laughed and laughed, and I went, oh my gosh, nobody's ever sold an accident policy quite like that before. I need to get a hold of this guy and find out if he's for real. So long story short, I found Eric, and then we talked, and then we realized that we had a lot in common when it comes to, we're both marketers and we're both people who love to see connections between things that other people may not see. So immediately I looked at, oh shit, I died, and I went, wow, that is marketing leverage right there. That is something you can hang your lead generation on. And I went, wow, okay. But then we started talking, and he says, there's something else that's going on. There's this affiliate program I'm involved with, and I will let you we'll let him tell you as much as he's allowed to tell you. He has sort of a gag order from the higher ups at the company, because the official launch date is January the 8th. But he's also he's like me. You don't want to, especially going into 2024. I was telling him I was a PNC agent, and when you lost a big client at a PNC agency, oh my gosh, you felt it. I mean, layoffs and everything else, because they always put all of their eggs in that one big corporate basket, and that can go south really quickly. So I looked at him and I said, hey, uh, he's like me, diversity. If you're telling your clients they need to diversify their portfolios, then you better be out there diversifying your sources of income, whether that's adding product lines, whether that's, whatever, getting a side gig. And so we were talking about side gigs, and he introduced me to this. And like I tell all of you, I don't know if it's going to work or not. It looks very promising. And I'm going to let Eric tell you the story about how he got involved in that, and then what this is, so that you'll understand. Because down below the video, we're going to have some links to these various places where you can go and find out more information, and where you can sign up with Eric's agency if you want to talk to him about contracting and that kind of stuff. But right now, I want him just to kind of go over what this is, as much as you can tell us without giving away the whole house.
Sure. So
Okay.
it actually ties right into the oh shit I died.com website. So I guess 3.5 weeks ago, something like that. I was really, I want to take it to the next level, that website, and I needed help because I'm not that good at social media. Again, I'm not that good at, and so I'm two canal, and we don't talk streets here, we talk canals because we're on the water. 2 canals over is a very, very successful lady named Ashley, who I'm friends with. And she was super successful with in a couple of different network marketing companies that I was not. Yeah, that's not my space. I don't really understand. Never really want to be involved with them. But I called her because she's exceptionally good at marketing, and I said, Ashley, can you help me? You mind taking a look at this website for me? And she watched the video and all this kind of stuff, and she said, that is awesome. I said, she went on and on about it. I said, great. I said, but the problem is I need to monetize it even better than it's doing. I'm getting a lot of responses and excitement and all that kind of stuff. And she gave me some advice, gave me a number of somebody that can help me with on that side. And but then she started asking me about my business, and I was telling her really kind of what I just told you, but especially about the referral stuff. And she was fascinated by it. She stopped me. She goes, hey, listen, I'm actually getting ready to head to the airport and fly down to Braden, Florida, and see a friend of mine. I think if it all comes together, I would love to talk to you in a couple of days. We might have something that you might be interested in. I said, okay, great. So she calls me 2 days later and said that, yeah, her meeting with Mike, which was supposed to be over drinks, wound up to be an 8-hour dinner, and that he was actually starting a company that was going to launch on January 8th. And so I was like, okay. And I put the brakes on right there. I said, Ashley, that sounds great, but let me tell you, I'm not interested in like a network marketing thing. I'm just not. I have to. I get approached all the time for the last 15, really my whole working life, but especially the last 15 years,
You and me both.
different opportunities. And
Yeah.
I said, I said, I'm willing to take a look, but I got to check some boxes. Number one, timing. Like timing is everything. I want to get in. If I'm going to get into something, I want to get in on the very front end. Like I don't want to buy Google for 500 a share. I want to buy it for 10 cents a share. You know what I mean? And so that box is checked. The company's not even launching yet for another 10 days, I think, the 8th, something like that. I said, okay, so number two was super important to me. Kind of like insurance, there is a barrier of entry, right? Meaning licensing. So it costs money to become an insurance agent. I said, oh, and honestly, he said most things that I think that the big draw against network marketing is you got to sell to friends and family. you got to buy a bunch of stuff, whether you like it or not, whether, auto ship and all that kind of stuff. So there's money involved there. And then it's just that stigma that is attached to it, I think, in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to sell my friends and family. I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff I don't believe in. I don't want to do a bunch of stuff like that. Number three, I don't have time to go sit and have coffee with 37 times a week with somebody to try to show them my opportunity. I don't want to rent a lobby, a hotel, room and give some presentation and all that old school stuff. It's archaic. You can't grow. Number three was, well, let me finish that, I guess. The ability here, we can mass market. And I'm going to show you some numbers in a minute. We can mass market, meaning all our job is to promote the next event, is to promote the next companies in which we just had one last night. Maybe some of you were on it, some of you weren't, right? So that was important to me, that I can spend some time on the phone calling a few people, but I can also send out 5,000 emails with my link and grow my business that way. So to put things in perspective, well, I actually talked to a friend of mine who I would consider a mentor, and I showed him the model, this business model that Mike Patillo, he's the guy who's starting the company, showed me. And when he looked at it, he got quiet. And he said, based on what I'm looking at here, what would normally take somebody 5 to 7 years to build in the traditional, business model, you guys can do in 60 to 90 days. And that's what sold me right there. I was like, okay, I can do that. There's no cost of entry. You're not required to buy anything. The most there is to open up the full bonus program and get a more robust dashboard, $15 a month, not 50, not 1,500, $15 a month. The first 5,000 affiliates that come on board that qualify can share in the company profits for the first year. So that's pretty exciting too. So there's really nothing to lose. And what also was exciting to me, and I'll show you the numbers in a minute, was the excitement that came from people outside of that network marketing world. Like we've got a guy who's been in affiliate sales for 3 or 4 years out on the West Coast, actually, that came on board, and he's got tens of thousands of affiliates that are already selling his products, right? So it's been very popular with realtors, notaries, mortgage brokers, people in the automotive space, because the products are actually home and auto warranties. I'm not going to go deep into the product because it didn't really matter. We are here to build a distribution network right now at this point before the launch. So I got an email on Christmas Eve. So we had only been we got to, and Tammy, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but on the Wednesday, which I believe was like 9 or 10 days prior to Christmas, we were able to actually start, right? We were invited to have an early head start to start building our affiliate network. So as of Christmas Eve, I put in 41 people. And I'm going to do this just because I think it's important. This is not me making something up. Here you can see it maybe. I don't know if you can see. So as of Christmas, I put in 41 people that collectively had put in a total of 3,716 affiliates in 8 or 9 days, whatever that was. So that's the power of this, the power to build your group. And I've talked to other people that have done, on the network marketing side, said that to this day, 10 years in, their company, they don't have that many. They don't have that many. As of this morning, it was over 5,100. So it's just continuing to grow. I don't know if you can see that whiteboard back there, but on the, that's my marketing company, flipflopmillions.com. But my goal was to have 1,000 affiliates by January 8th by the time we launched. Now it's 10,000 because that's the power of this thing. And that's not, so a handful of people went really big, but you also have people that put in 20, 30, 40 people, and you never know who you'll trip up on. And honestly, that is the way a lot of these big companies are going to move to in the future. That it costs, advertising is expensive. It really is. So sometimes putting together an affiliate program, right, doesn't cost them a whole lot. They would much rather pay us. If you look at, and Tim, you probably actually know more about this than me, but affiliates, I mean, they've been doing this pretty well for 4, 5, 6 years. I think
Yeah,
we're just getting started in it. And I'll leave the last thing and then we can do some questions. This is what I asked him. And this is the most important thing. I said, so right now we're partnered with a company that sells home and auto warranties, right? They're not new. They've been in the business 10 years, a Fortune 500 company. They did 2.6 billion in sales last year, right? So we're partnered with them. I asked Mike Patilla, the guy who owns the company, I said, are you going to, and I was on FaceTime when I was talking to him one-on-one. I said, Mike, are you going to put in any more products? Like, what's down the line? He smiled and he goes, I can't tell you. I can't tell you, but he smiled and he says, but imagine this, Eric. He said, what if you had an organization of, in a year from now, that's 50,000 affiliates you've built out? What happens a year later when I drop in another product? All of that money then filters down. What happens when we do it again 9 months later? All of that money filters in. All the while your business is continuing to grow organically. Why? Because there's no barriers of entry. The most anybody's going to pay in this business is $15 a month if they want the preferred affiliate position. Otherwise, it's free. There's nothing to lose. So that's what's exciting to me about it. And so, like Tammy said, there'll be a link for those of y'all that don't have it yet to go on the next call, the next corporate Zoom and all you're doing is pushing people to promote the next Zoom is on the 3rd at 7 p.m. Central time. And so that's all. So once you sign up for yourself for that Zoom, you'll be given your own link, and then you promote your own link to invite those people out, and they're going to be coded to you. The minute they sign up for that registration, they're coded to you for whatever they do in the future. That money's going to run up and pay you.
and it's just like a multi-level. It's not down multiple levels. It's just you and anybody they sign. It doesn't go beyond that, right?
It goes to infinity.
It is.
If you do the preferred
I didn't know
affiliate, and so I'm learning all these terms. There's generational bonuses. There's compression. So like I have a guy who put in one person, and then that person just went nuts, and he's got, I think, close to 2,000 people now, but he's never put in, and I can't even get him on the phone. He's disappeared. But my point is, I don't lose that. It just compresses up. And so I really, there is so much more money here. By the way, I kind of skipped over the money. Every time I would refer a sale, like, right, I'm getting my own for free. I get my own 800 number, VIP 800 number, my own website, all that's done for me for free. Every time I go out and refer a sale to the inbound call center, which takes it from there, they make the sale. I just refer it. I get $200. I don't really care about that. What I care about is every time any of the affiliates anywhere make a sale, refer a sale, I get $25. And you go, oh, $25, it doesn't sound like a lot. Did you see that? I had 5,000, a little over 5,000 affiliates this morning. If 10% made a sale this month, that's a $12,500 check to me.
Sure. If you got 50 cents off every Big Mac that was sold every day in the US, you'd be like,
yeah, that's why I wanted an insurance agency in the beginning. I wanted a very small piece of a very big number. And that's what this is.
Exactly.
$25.
And for me, I saw this, guys, as quite a different area. I saw this as a good marketing tool. Those of you who've been telling me you want to build a list. Well, here's a way to do it, because you can build a big list really fast. So here's a question now. We have a question from Adam. Hi, Adam. So if we bring on a connection that brings a lot more than we do, okay, what happens there? I mean, if the person
collect on it, they don't pass you that you, yeah.
They don't
every
pass
time. Nope, there's none of that. This is not like some other models. So when I build out my thing, I am building wide. I'm just putting as many people direct to me as possible, and then see what happens from there. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 really big organizations now. And again, there's people, I mean, how many people on this call, how many listen, that I would guess 50% of the people would know this name if I dropped it, but I can't drop it just because of who they are, that are on board with us. There's a guy that made $32 million last year, not in his career, last year, that didn't even care what the product was. He saw like I saw insurance, he saw this model, he's like, I'm in. Let's go full tilt. So
there will be people that get it, and the people that are really likely to get it, other than people that have been in MLM for a long time or whatever, The people who are likely to get it would be, I think, real estate agents and investors, multifamily people and people like that. They're going to understand this model. They are going to go, really? And they're not probably not even going to believe it because they've seen it all, So get them to one of those meetings, get a couple of, you might have some clients that are in real estate and stuff.
Honestly, in the last few days, I was on with a lady this morning who's got close to she's about the size of me, insurance wise. She's got a little over 200 agents, and every one of them are coming on board. We just hired the number two, the second largest Primerica agency in the country. The guy's been in it for 32 years. He's in, all of his people are in, and other groups are coming in.
Primerica people would get it, yeah, right away.
Yeah. Well, it does, yeah. Again, and you never know, but I mean, so many of our agents are in the house anyway, right? So talk about a home warranty. And listen, I got it. Like home warranty, car warranties, they're not sexy, they're not exciting. But think about this: people, with the economy we're in right now, people are keeping their cars longer, right? It makes sense to have one of these things. And Mike is no dummy. He is one of the smartest guys I've met in a very long time. And done billions. I'm talking billions and billions in sales and built out several companies before. He's super smart. And his name alone didn't mean anything to me. But when you start talking to some of these affiliate sales and network marketing companies and stuff, they're like, I'm in. All I had to do was see his name, I'm in. That's why Ashley said, if she told Mike, said, if you ever do anything again, I want to be one of your first calls. And she was. That's why she jumped on a plane when she heard a rumor he was going to start and then came back. So
yeah, these guys can't stop doing it, no matter how much money they make. Do we have any other questions too? Hi, Doug. Oh, Doug Myrick's on. Hi, Doug. Any questions for anybody else? So this is the purpose of this podcast which is mainly to introduce you to Eric. So many, I must have had 50 seriously emails, Eric, saying, who is this guy? How can I meet him? What else does he do? Wait. Can you even hear the sound on that thing when I play it? Can you hear it?
I can only hear you.
You can. Oh, okay. So you're not seeing the screen. But anyway, when people saw this video, they were asking me to hook us up with Eric. Hook us up with Eric. So there's two ways that you can work, or at least explore working with Eric. That would be to go to the morefreedomfinancial.com site. Is there a contact or a Calendly on there?
There is. If you go to the ohshitidied.com site and scroll down, it says join the Oh Shit team. You can do that. The Oh Shit guy team.
Yeah. Just put something in there that you were on the webinar, or just put my name in there, so he'll know.
Put Tammy's name in there, and I'll know.
Yeah, he'll have a point of reference. That's one way.
And then you've got the link for the affiliate program.
Right. I've got the link for the affiliate. Like, I always set low expectations because I don't know how you guys work on the other end, and I promise you this: I will do as much as I can to make this successful, but I can't make any guarantees. However, if you play your cards right, at least you will get a list out of it and maybe some motivation, because coming in 2024, I think, Eric, we're going to have challenging times. And yes, you're going to need to do, again, what you tell your clients always to do, which is diversify. You need those extra sources of income. We all need them. And even if all you're doing with the money is just like, I want to get money so I can buy gold, whatever you're doing with it, this could be a way to do it. It's certainly a way for you to get out and meet more people, so I don't see a real downside. I don't see that.
There's no downside. There's literally nothing to lose.
Are they going to bombard you with
for $1,000 check? Hey, no, there's nothing.
No,
I want you to think the 9 to 5 is dead. So I look at my oldest daughter, who's 25, who is involved in the affiliate thing now too, and because she's good at promoting. That's all this is. Whoever promotes well wins, whether that's in person, on social, through emails or social media or whatever. They don't want a 9 to 5 job. She quit. She graduated college, went to work as a recruiter in some company in Nashville, hated it, quit. Actually made more money because now she tends bar on Broadway and now does this and love it. They don't want that. Who else this is really popular with? The affiliate thing I'm talking about is the close to retired or retired person, right?
No
Because
way. That's
they
their
are
whole.
terrified of the money's
Yeah.
the cost of living is incredible, and they're scared. And so they have time on their hands, they have a ton of connections, and this is something,
Wow.
again, the barrier of entry is literally non-existent. They can get involved.
You could actually help your prospects get enough money that they can spend money with you. You know, getting your, when they make tons of money, you could sell them an annuity or something. So
It all intertwines.
I just saw, I love it when you agents are out there doing entrepreneurial stuff. I always say that I get my best ideas from agents. I just go out on the internet all the time. I look, this guy's killing it. What is he doing? And hopefully, I mean, they're really good. I think our industry is really small, kind of, Eric. We're kind of an
Mhm.
incestuous sort of business. Everybody seems to know one another, and that can be good. That can be like, a lot of times these older guys are happy to share with you how they market. They're happy to come on a webinar or a podcast and just say, here are my secrets. I don't think Eric's doing anything that any of you can't do. And that's my point.
Yeah,
So,
Lord, no. You probably do
so
it better.
if
Serious,
you
and
have
I'm not joking. Like, you probably do it better.
If you have any questions, you can type them in. We're going to be wrapping it up now, but this is just a taste of what we're going to be doing. I do suggest that you go to those websites and you also sign up for at least one of these corporate things so you can see what it is. All right.
So,
It won't hurt you at all. I
not at all.
promise not to show up on your doorstep with knock on your.
There are no gotchas. Seriously, there are no gotchas. There's no commitments, nothing. So if I would sign up, here's what I would do if I were you. I would sign up for the Zoom on Wednesday with the link that Tammy's got. And if you do that, I actually do a short little one on
Yes.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm doing one tonight at 7 p.m. my time, which is Central Time, that Tammy can get you that link. You're welcome to join that. It's small. We're going to probably have 20, 30, 40 people on there. Um, but I will kind of cover the opportunity again and answer questions, and then also kind of talk about what some of us are doing that are finding a lot of success with this. Again, right now we're 10 days away, I believe that's right, from launching on the 8th. So our job is just to build that distribution build that distribution network. That's all I've ever done. So even if you look at my job description, like if you go to Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, I'm not insurance. I'm a distributor. I just happen to distribute insurance, and we're going to distribute these warranties and things like that, whatever other products come down the line. That's it. You're a distributor. You're an agent, yeah, but you're a distributor of financial products. So this is no different. You're just building that big distribution network.
So this is perfect. Again, I'm going to be coming up with more ideas for all of us to have these little side gigs. I'll also put a link down below for the side gig course, which I got at like 40% off. If you're stuck for ideas, or if a lot of you have clients and prospects and sons and daughters that really need some help right now. So this could be very, very good for them. You could feel like you're doing something positive. Anyway, if you have more questions, you can shoot me an email, Tammy at rebelagentdepot.com. That's Tammy with a Y at rebelagentdepot.com, and I'll forward it to Eric. And you can get together. So some of you do have big networks, and so we want to work with you a little differently to make sure that you're happy that we've got your network taken care of. So thank you, Eric Boling, for being such a
Yes.
crazy guy. And he even, as a matter of fact, the first time I called him, he was recovering and he was in the emergency room. The very first
I
time,
was.
I thought
Yeah.
he's really living it. He's living it because he's in the emergency room because he got burned.
Don't think I don't have like a bunch of these policies on myself. That was a requirement when I got married.
Yeah, you better watch out for your wife, though. She might accidentally nudge you someday, and
Oh,
you might.
hey, I'm worth far more dead than alive, I assure you.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us today during the holidays, and I want everyone to have a great New Year's. We're gonna hit 2024 hard. It's gonna try to hit us, but we're gonna hit back, and we're gonna do some things that it's gonna make it a lot more fun to sell insurance. We're making insurance fun again.
There we go.
Yeah, we're MIFA. Okay. So anyway, all you guys, thanks a lot. And if you have questions, again, reach out to me and look below once I post this. And those who are on the call, I'm going to go ahead and send you the link directly because it'll be a while till I get this posted. So thanks, everybody. Welcome, Eric, to the craziness that is my side of things. And everybody else, take care. Thank you so much. And we will be in touch soon. Take care.
Bye bye.